Hello, it's Katie, and this is Halloween card series number 3. And we're going to be making a card with the Mama Elephant Bootastic set. So I prepped a little bit. I did cut a card and scored it and folded it already. So this was cut at 5.5, but the short ways, I guess you could say. And then I scored it at 4.25, so it's going to open more like a book. In this case, it's going to open like this. So what I'm going to do first is create a kind of a background with the little stamps. So the pumpkin, the bat, and the spider here. And the bat, I want to show you something. The bat here, I accidentally permanently ruined him. That's what he looks like. He's supposed to look like. I used chalk ink on him, and that is not a good idea on clear stamps because it will stain it forever, that color. It was a dark gray, but it can be cleaned and used with any other color. It doesn't keep coming off in the future. It will just stain the photopolymer. So just be aware that if you use any chalk ink, it's not very popular, but I used it a long time ago. It's a lot like pigment ink, but it's chalk ink, and it will stain your photopolymer clear stamps. So just be aware. So I'm going to do the, we're doing a lot of Mama Elephant today. I'm going to use the Mama Elephant Smoke for the bat, and I'll go ahead and pick him up. And we're just going to make a background of these little guys. So kind of wherever you want. You don't have to make a pattern of it or anything like that or be too specific. Okay, then I'll put one right up here, maybe coming off of the card a little bit. However you want that. I'm going to end up putting something in the middle here that's going to be a circle. It'll take up some of that space. I'm going to zoom in. Sorry if this shakes a little bit, so you can see what I'm doing here. Okay. Okay, so we'll set that guy aside, and then we'll pick up the spider. I'm going to use the VersaFine ink in Onyx Black so that he has a good imprint. Then I'll pick up the spider there. And again, just be careful when you do stamp with the VersaFine. You don't want to touch it for a while afterwards because you could smear it, and we don't want to smear our card. And if you ever get any ink on an acrylic block while you're stamping, it's easier to, sorry, hang on. There we go. Easier to just wipe it off instead of maybe accidentally getting it on your project. I see a lot of people who are brave enough, but I just don't trust myself not to get it on there. So I'll stamp another one of him off the page. Then we'll do one down here and some off to the right. Now I just have to be careful with my fingers so I don't touch anything. Maybe I just need to pick up the ink better. Okay, let's put one right here. We'll set him aside, and then we'll pick up the pumpkin, and I'm going to do him in orange, also a Mama Elephant ink. It's called Orange Aid. It's a really, really Halloween-y orange. I like it a lot. So I'll grab the pumpkin and just pick him up with the block and get the orange ink and just kind of stamp wherever. And even if you are doing it randomly, it actually comes out to be a pretty good pattern either way, as long as you space everything okay and you have enough of each. You can almost make it look like it was printed that way, or printed pattern paper. You can make your own paper if you want to be super careful and plan a little bit better how you're gonna stamp everything. Just put one in the corner there. Okay, so since we have something that's gonna take up the center part, this should be good for a background. So I think I'm happy with that. Okay, so I'm gonna set this aside. The next part that we're gonna do is I'm gonna cut circles. I'm going to die cut circles. One out of purple and one out of orange, and the orange circle is gonna be the smaller one. It's gonna go on top of the purple. And then on some white on white cardstock, I'm gonna stamp the little mummy and then use the die for his shape that comes with this set to cut him out after I color him in, and then he's gonna go right in the center of the orange circle. So I'll put him on a block and set him aside because we're gonna stamp him in just a little bit. So he's ready for us later. The Stampin' Up! Framelits Circles collection, I have a lot of the Stampin' Up! Of this style. I have the circles, the squares, I might have ovals, I don't think I do, the hearts. They're just really handy, and they come with a lot of sizes. And so what I want to do is find out what size I want him in, so I'm just going to hold him over. I think he's going to fit just fine inside of this size. So then I'll pick the next one up, which is going to be the bigger circle, and then I'll set these dies aside. Okay, set him aside, and then grab the Big Shot that's in front of me. Okay, so the purple circle is going to be the bigger one. I'll put this between my two cutting plates and run that through. So we've got our purple circle. Then I'll take the smaller die and run the orange through to get our orange circle. So now we have our orange one. Okay, and then put this away. Alright, so and I'm going to end up raising them together on foam tape, but I do want to stick the orange to the purple. So I'll go ahead and do that. And the way that a die cut cuts, you do want to pay attention to which one was the back, because you'll notice that you'll get little creases and you can tell it was the back. So that's where we want to put our adhesive. And then just center that on. You can eyeball it or sit above it. Center that on the purple circle, so that's ready to go. Then, oops, oh well, I'll get another piece. I'll stamp him and color him in. I'm going to stamp him with Memento, sorry about that, Memento Tuxedo Black ink, so that I can color him in. So this is the one that isn't going to bleed if I color with Copics. So we should be just fine. I know we'll be. I've colored with it a lot. So we'll stamp him out. We just want to make sure we get a good image. So that looks good to me. And then the two colors I'm going to use, that's really, really simple. I'm going to do his face and his ears, which is really all that's showing in E02. It's called Fruit Pink. I don't really know why, because it doesn't look pink, but I'll take it. And then the N1 Neutral Gray. I'm not sure I can get that to zoom. Close enough. For kind of his mummy costume, I guess you could say. It's just a very light gray. So I'm just going to quickly color his ears and his face. I don't know if I'll ever be able to do a color heavy video without cutting out some of the coloring or editing it, because it would take forever. And not that you don't want to sit there and watch me color, but it also takes forever to upload onto YouTube if you don't cut anything or edit it. So I would rather not wait that long. I like getting these up and out of the way so that you can see them. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of running it along the lines, the bottom edge of all of his lines. I'm not actually coloring it in, just to kind of give more of a shadow or a gray effect. And I'll hold him up so you can see what it looks like. Okay. Okay, so just some shadows, some gray shadows. And then I'm going to get the dye for him. This is my envelope in my plastic bag for Bootastic. I do have separate bins for stamps and dies. I feel like I should probably keep the dies with the stamp set, but I don't know. It works right now in my brain, so until I really, really care about keeping them together, I think I'll just do it how I'm doing now. Okay, so grab the Big Shot again. I'm actually going to use this one more time for another part of the card. And I have a stack of Post-its that I got from like one of our vendors or clients or something. So I just use those to hold down dies since I don't really need Post-its at home. So I take the extra Post-it pads home and use them instead of buying that Post-it tape or using washi tape. You can just rip up cheap Post-its, which is really what they are. But there's a lot in that stack, so I think that'll last me a while. So just to hold him in place so it didn't move around, then we can pop him out of the die there. So he's good to go. And I can put my die back. And then another die, I might as well run it now while I have the Big Shot out. And I actually used the strip I had cut for the little guy, so I'm going to cut another one really quick. Because this is kind of a longer die. What we're going to do is end up putting our sentiment on this Simon Says Stamp banner. I don't know the name of it. I'm assuming it's a banner die because there's no name on here, but that's what it looks like. And it's just a long die. And this is where the little folds are going to be, so this won't cut, but it'll kind of emboss a fold, kind of like scoring on the scoreboard. So I'll go ahead and run this through. Okay, so we'll set this aside again. And sometimes I just, if they stick in there, I'll just drop them so they pop out. But that works. All right. Okay. All right, so we'll get the sentiment and stamp that on the banner and give it a little bit to dry. From the stamp set, I'm going to use the, sorry, it's under my other stuff here. We're going to use the Alltricks Note Treats Just Kidding Happy Halloween sentiment. Because it's cute, but it fits the banner the best lengthwise and sentiment-wise. So we're just going to put that right on there. So I'm going to use the VersaFine Pigment Black, just so it's a really good, bold image. I don't need to color in it or anything like that, so it's fine. Get a good stamp of that. Perfect. Alright, and then I do need to fold this. I have to fold it this way and then fold the little flags out after that. So I'm going to give this a little bit to dry, just to be safe so I don't smudge it. And so we'll stick this little guy down to his place he's going to be. And I can just use the tape runner is just fine. I'm not a huge fan of glue. I wish I was. I'll probably get into it more. The Tombow Mono multi-glue seems to be good for this kind of stuff, but I got really, really sticky last time I used it, and I just don't want to do that right now. So maybe I'll practice not on video. So then I'm just going to center him on there and stick him down. And we have our card base. He's going to go right in the middle. So I'll end up raising him up on some foam tape. Here's my little wheel. wheel of foam. Grab a pair of scissors. A lot of people say you can just tear it, which you can. I just like to cut it to size it properly, but maybe this will work just fine. Okay, that seemed to work. I can tear it. And then we'll use a little bit of foam tape to kind of fix up the banner, to hold it up in the middle, or else it would kind of sag. So we'll probably end up touching it to maybe right below, because the banner is going to go along the bottom of this. So we'll center him first on there. Okay, so we have him down. Now we've got our banner. So what we need to do is fold it. I actually fold this one first. I can't remember why. I think it's because if I fold the other one and then that one, it tends to put a crease somewhere where I didn't want it. I can't really remember. So we're going to fold this one in towards the front of the banner and then fold it back on the other line, and that line should be straight. This may not be perfectly straight in the end, but that's okay. And to stick this down, I'm actually going to put some tape runner here, and then the foam goes here because it's a little bit higher, so you can see that dimension there. The foam will go on this one, and the tape is just going to stick right to the card. So I'll put my tape runner on the banner end, both ends. And then before I stick that down, we want to make sure we have the foam in the middle. And then I'll peel that off. So we're going to stick this down all at once. We just want to make sure it's good before we stick it down. Okay. So I'll put it here, I think. Is good for me. Okay, so you can see I have it stuck down here on the sides, but this is still up a little bit, and we've got our foam on there. And I think I'll use the paper to press it down. I just don't want to smear it with my finger, just in case. Okay, so we've got that, and then that's stuck down. Alright, so we've got our banner. And sorry about that. All right, and that is the card. So we created a background with the little stamps and some different colors, and then popped this up with some Halloween colors and colored in our little mummy guy. And then we did the Simon Says Stamp banner and raised that up. So that is the card. I will probably be doing card number 4 at some point on Sunday. And if not Sunday, then Tuesday, because I won't have time Monday. So hopefully the next one will be soon, and I'll find some time Sunday. And we will see you then. Thank you. Bye.